Good morning to all of us, and welcome again to this occasion. The chairperson for this event, he holds a PhD in medical physics from the University of Cape Coast, and he has an MPhil also in medical physics and a BSc in physics and computer science from our own University of Ghana, the premier university. He's a senior medical physicist and a senior clinical research scientist with Radiological and Medical Sciences Research Institute of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission and Association Fellow of International Center for Theoretical Physics, Trieste, Italy. He's not a small boy. He's a senior lecturer with the Department of Medical Physics, School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences, University of Ghana, Legon. Through International Atomic Energy Agency, he fellowship under some programs. He's also involved in the training of medical physicists across Africa. He's also a lab scientist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, dietitians. All of these federations across the globe. Their president form a council and is the chairman of this council. People gathered here. He's also the chair of the Profession-Specific Committee of Allied Health Professional Council. Our chairperson has over 40 publications in peer-reviewed journals, together with a number of technical reports and conference papers. Dignitaries gathered, college students. Let's invite our chairperson, who is in the person of Dr. Isahuku Shirazu. Please let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. So we'll welcome our chairperson to give us his opening remarks. Let's show him some love. Give him a round of applause as he mounts.
Thank you very much. What can I say? It doesn't sound like the mark is working. What can I say? It's a privilege. Thank you for kind words. All this started about 20 years ago when pioneers of this great union you have today was formed, and with just a number of 54 members. Today, I'm sure we can boast of over 2,000. Wouldn't that be a great opportunity? Additionally, the single largest professional group in the health sector in this country, in fact, the whole world, is the Allied Health Group. We hold key to national development. Without us, the health sector cannot operate. So let's be proud for our existence. I want to take the opportunity to thank all the invited guests, professors who are here with us, my colleagues, the student leadership, and for that matter, the membership. I stand here before you as the current president of all allied health professionals in this country. It has not been easy being a president. In fact, a friend just sent me a message asking me whether I actually sleep. From last week up to today, I've attended 15 programs. I closed the last program last night as late as 1 a.m. And I'm here today, this morning, for another program. Isn't that good? But I am encouraged seeing the great names that are here with us. I'm sure they equally have very serious tight schedules, especially a weekend of this nature. But I'm so much impressed with the team for this summit, because as scientists and for that matter health professionals, we only think of the ward as our existence. Maybe what the introductory notes left out was that I've been with the nuclear medicine department for the past 12 years. So I'm a medical physicist with the nuclear medicine department of this premier hospital, Ugahsa-Jcr hospital. What is also important to note is that you cannot exist as any form of living organism without the survival of your income, money. Your ability to exist depends on whatever you can do to be able to put what I will term as living air in your system. In other words, you must be able to find something that will come into your hands almost every month. And for that matter, our employment issue has been a very, very important issue in the country today. Unfortunately, since 2020, there hadn't been any opportunity for employment, even though for the past 3 years, that is between 2018, 2019, and 2020, we had a great opportunity to be employed by the Minister of Health. But this is an opportunity for you to realize that despite the employment issues, you still have to be able to put yourself together such a way that you can be able to get an income outside the regular job that we do. In fact, when I started as a young man, I had the opportunity to run some businesses, and that has kept me going since then. So I'm also an entrepreneur despite all my busy shadows. In addition, I want to encourage all of you not to give up. There is a hugely very bright future ahead of us. Even though at the stage of your education, you may not identify the key role you play in society, but that key role cannot be underestimated. Simply because as allied health professionals, radiographers, biomedical, laboratory scientists, medical physicists, physiotherapists, nutritionists, mental health practitioners, all this group put together form what we term as the health structure of this country. And every single unit within the health structure play a key role in our existence as a nation. And our development depends on this. Not to forget the fact that most of these challenges we may have as a country today is because we do not have our leaders appreciating these facts. And most importantly, most of us as health workers, and for that matter, scientists, do not go into politics. And this is left to only very few who have very little information about what we stand for. And because of that, most of these challenges will come in because they do not appreciate the processes we go through. At the ministry level, fortunately for us, we now have a desk as allied health professional desk where all our issues are going to be addressed. And this happened last year. We thank the current minister for that. Secondly, we are in the process getting an important unit within our development. There's a process currently ongoing to establish what we call the College of Allied Health Professionals. And that college will train us within our setup, within the clinical practice, for us to be able to improve our performance and our ability to work in the health sector much more better. It has gone through a series of discussions. We submitted a proposal. It's currently being discussed. And very, very soon, that college will be established. And you will be the lucky ones to be more or less the first group to enjoy these processes. So let's be proud. Let's be proud of this. We have gone so far. In fact, as I said initially, the single largest professional group in the health sector is this Ally Health Group. We have a council. I chair the special committee of the council, and trust me, that process is huge. We are in the process of doing so many other things that will put you in the front light of the health structure. Do not be disturbed by the current state of a bit more not being focused, and most of the focus is with our other colleagues. When you mention health sector, the quick name that comes in is obviously but they are not our opponent. They are actually our colleagues in the health sector. Let's work together with them. Let's appreciate what they do so that they also appreciate what we do. As student union here, I am very sure work closely with them. Don't see them as your opponent. Initially, that tag was there because we suspect some of the actions they were doing. But as I get into the leadership role, I realize that they are actually not our opponent. Most of them stand for our good. There's just very few that may, in one way or make comments that doesn't look too good for us. I had opportunity initially when those days we were being trained as medical physicists, as first graduate students. What normally happened at the university was that you are all admitted into the biological sciences. And then after the second year, there was this interview. Those days there was no exams. It's an interview. You all go, and then most of us we see where I still have my mates who are in the other professional groups. We're together in the class, and they know you. They know how you were. They know your performance. They cannot underrate you. They know. So fortunately for you, you have a much more simplified processes you are going through. But just be confident in what you do. See yourself as achievers. See yourself and as respect your profession. Put yourself above the ordinary level, such a way that the second person may see you as a very important person within the health structure. Not to take much of your time, I want to say that the program today, I believe, will come out with a very key objective that we want to achieve. And those objectives are going to be what will be the benefit of attending this program. I am really impressed with the numbers I see here. As I said initially, just about 54. We now have huge number. I'm not sure these are all the numbers. I'm sure there are other people out there who could not have the opportunity to be here. What I expect leadership to do, to foster some kind of collaboration with the other universities. We have a similar invitation at UDS. I wish you could have a national union, a national body that will ensure that all these key things are championed by the national body, such a way that those in UDS, those in what's the name, PEC, KNUST, those in Cape Coast, those in WHO are all going to benefit from this. But this is an important, look at the people we brought in here to talk. Can you imagine bringing people who have made it in life to talk to people who are beginning life? This is an opportunity. We did not get that opportunity. Never underestimate this. This can be a breaker in your life. As I said initially, I also started as an entrepreneur. I have a number of shops I run, including a pharmacy shop I run. And it was because of some experiences, some interaction I have with people who have made it in life. And this is going to be an opener in your life. Pay attention to what they say, take notes, and then if there's challenges, get contact with them so that they can take you through the process by which they have gone through to become where they are today. In conclusion, I want to encourage all of us, let's have hope. Let's see ourselves as achievers. Never underestimate your potential. You can make it. You can get to wherever you want to get to. You have the potential. Today you may be down there, but please, with so much effort, don't just think things will come in a silver platter. It definitely will come with some challenges, but forge ahead, get over those challenges, and I'm very convinced the sky will be the limit for you. Thank you so much, and I want to hand over back to the MC to continue.
Dr. Isahaku has said so much. Please, I think we can do it better for him. You certainly do have the potential to be where you want to be. This is a one-time opportunity. Take advantage of it and put yourself above average. These are things he said which I know that I'm taking home with me. He said something very key that I think I want to draw attention to, that it's not easy being a leader. He had to stay in a meeting till 1 a.m. I don't know how many of us can do that. Usually when it's a movie, we can stay. But when it's something very important, then our faces begin to change. He stayed in a meeting till 1 a.m. That should tell us something. It is not easy being a leader, but it's certainly worth it. We'd like to remind you all that we are streaming live on Ugahsa Official on IG and M. Kusi Streams on YouTube.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are reminded that today's event is going to be facilitated via a WhatsApp line, especially the interactive segment. Maybe I take this opportunity to give you an overview of how today's event is going to go. So aside our speakers who will be mounting the stage to deliver their various addresses to us with respect to the specific area or the thematic area under today's theme, I believe that is very prominent that we have an interactive segment. And to facilitate that, we have a WhatsApp line, and I'm quite sure each and every one of us is on the Beyond the World WhatsApp line. Is there anyone here who's not on that WhatsApp line, please? Thank you. Okay, so I think, please kindly, kindly contact the ushers and they'll help you get on that WhatsApp line. So what we're going to do is, today it's built to have 8 top speakers. And like I said earlier, today's theme under leadership, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. We have 4 speakers under entrepreneurship. We have 3 speakers under leadership. And interestingly, we have 1 speaker who is taking the financial literacy. For those of you who know who will be taking the financial literacy, he happens to be a very astute fan of Liverpool. I mean, as you all know, he never walks alone. But today, unfortunately, he's standing alone for financial literacy segment. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I'm talking about the one and only Kojo Adai Mensah. He'll be coming on stage very soon. Those who just joined us, please kindly get seated as we are about to get started. Those who just joined us, once again, be reminded that we are gathered at the Charles Ismond Auditorium of the College of Health Sciences of the University of Ghana. And of course, today happens to be a very great day, like I said earlier, where we seek to discuss and push the very discourse about financial literacy, the very things that we wish we knew when we were younger, and I say relatively younger. But I always say the future is now. So if we have the opportunity to imbibe and draw from the rich knowledge and fountain of ideas from all these amazing people, let us take it like one big deal. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 2 decades, Ugahsa has existed and has been a very strong instrument as far as pushing the agenda of the allied health students is concerned. And today, they seek to take this opportunity to launch what will go down as the 19th edition of the Ugahsa Health Week. To help us launch the Ugahsa Health Week in commiseration of students, ladies and gentlemen,
we have the president of Ugahsa and our organizing secretary. Please put your hands together for them.
The president and the organizing secretary for Ugahsa. So they'll be taking turns. In just about a few minutes, they'll be launching the Ugahsa Health Week. And right after that, we'll be moving straight to today's agenda. Once again, a big round of applause to the president and the organizing secretary of Ugahsa.
The School of Biomedical and Allied Health Sciences certainly is known for its rigorous and intensive training in producing top-notch dietitians, diagnostic radiographers and radiotherapists, biomedical scientists, respiratory therapists, physiotherapists, and occupational therapists. Kolebu is literally our home. Our journey begins right from the break of dawn at Legon campus, commuting through the heights of Accra as the alluring lavender fragrance of the Kole Lagoon beckons and refreshes us right to Kolebu campus. We ply the same route back to Legon, but the feeling is definitely spiced with sleepy eyes, beads of sweat from Accra's afternoon traffic and unforgiving sun. We've been through the thick and thin, and we're at that time of the year where we get together, have some fun, and ease the stress, and refuel for the rest of the journey.
Join us for the 19th Ugahsa Week celebration from Wednesday, the 3rd of August to Saturday, 6th August for a fun-packed experience.
Right, so good morning once again. So the theme for this year's Ugahsa Health Week celebration is Yempomachi Festival, Reproductive Health Awareness, Reproductive Health and STD Awareness. Yempomachi does not have a particular meaning. It's a generic meaning of some languages in our country that we have put together. When you go to the upper part of our country, YEM, that is Yem, in Fafra, means health. Achi in Ewe means medicine. And Pom in Akan also means health. So putting these words together, we are talking about knowledge of health, knowledge in medicine. And Yempomachi in Twi literally means Yempom Echi, beyond our health. So we are looking at health, knowledge on medicine, and also beyond our health. So we have the health component, that is the reproductive health and STD awareness. Then beyond the health, we have day outs, we have cooking competition, we have games dubbed the Dean's Cup. So all students gathered here, all dignitaries here, we are calling for sponsorship and partnership, and also our participation as well. So we stand here at this very moment and we declare the Yempomachi Festival during lunch. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to him again. Thank you, Mr. President and Mr. Organizing Secretary, for launching your Ugahsa. We are very much impressed and pleased with your effort to continue pushing the frontiers, the very purpose and mission for which the Ugahsa was established. Once again, a big round of applause to him. The time is set, but of course, very soon we'll be welcoming our very first speaker. And our very first speaker will be speaking on the concept of financial literacy. But before that, I mean, I could see a lot of expectant faces.
Yes,
I mean, before I got in here, someone was telling me.
Too many expectant faces.
You could tell,
Too many,
right?
Too many.
Lana, what about picking the minds of people? What are they really expecting?
I certainly will. I have this lovely young lady here. She looks so expectant, like she's just drawing me with her eyes. Can you please share with us what your expectations are for this program?
Thank you very much. I actually have a lot of expectations, but to summarize it all, I want to be impacted to go beyond the word and influence my society. Thank you very much.
Impacted to go beyond the world and influence her society. I'll take this lovely gentleman in the African print as well. If you're wearing African print, I can come to you.
Well, I think I'm most interested in the financial literacy and the entrepreneurship parts, because it's not just about the word, but then we also need to make money some way, somehow.
We need to make money some way, somehow. The soft life is a dream. I'm taking one last person, this lovely gentleman with a Bluetooth device.
Thank you very much. I'm also expecting to learn a lot about the financial literacy and how we can go beyond just what we've learned in the classrooms and actually have an experience from those who have gone ahead of us to know what steps we can take to make the most out of our lives.
Thank you so much. I think that's also very important to me, learning from those who have gone ahead and knowing the necessary steps to take. Over to you, Ricky.
Thank you very much, Lana. And thank you very much for expressing your expectations to us. And I hope your expectations are met at the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, today's event once again reminds you of our very three thematic areas. And like I expressed and indicated, we are going to have one speaker speaking on financial literacy. We are going to have three speakers speaking on leadership and four speakers speaking on entrepreneurship. As I stand, we're going to start with financial literacy. Now, this is how it's going to go. We have our WhatsApp line, which is going to help us to serve as our interactive segment. Whatever question that you have for our distinguished speaker, kindly write it onto that particular WhatsApp page. We have our technical guys who will be facilitating that, and the questions will be placed here during the interactive segment where our distinguished speaker will be responding to your various questions. Please try and make your questions as very cogent, clear, and concise. Thank you very much. Move straight to our dignified speaker who will be speaking on financial literacy. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who know him very much, he happens to be a very fine blood who has got an enormous and very virtuous knowledge when it comes to diverse fields of social development. He has amazing knowledge in sports, amazing knowledge in developmental issues, and of course, he comes as a fine brain when it comes to investment banking. Today, from his biggest vein, we shall be tapping from his vein of financial literacy, a vein that has been brewed by years and years of in-depth knowledge, skill, and of course, perusal of all that he needs from the world of finance for the past 2 decades. He serves as the CEO of Group Data Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier, he happens to be an astute Liverpool fan. He never walks alone, but today, when it comes to financial literacy, he's standing alone. Please, help me welcome the one and only Kojo Adai-Mensah.
Sometimes I tend to move around, so standing just on the podium there can be a bit difficult. But I don't know if the press people too want me to stick to standing here. I may. But thank you very much for the invitation. And honestly speaking, when the invitation came from Gideon, I looked at my agenda for the day and I said, I don't think I can make it. Like Chairman said, on a weekend like this, the number of things I have to do, 101. But I had to choose between a Pescoba event and this one. How many of you are Pescoba in the house? Is there any? Oh, senior. Let me salute. But I chose this one. And why did I? Because, as Doc said, when we were in school, when we were your age, we never got this opportunity. Ever. Nobody in my 3 years plus extra 2 years in Legon did I ever get this opportunity. So if I've been invited to give you guys the opportunity, why not? Let me take it and give you the opportunity. You're coming here alone, big deal. But don't take it for granted. If any of those names come back into this room, don't take it for granted at all. Because if I knew what I know now when I was your age, I probably would be retiring. I'm serious. I'm very, very serious. If I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have made certain mistakes. When you graduate, what will you be? I've taken him by surprise. So the next person won't be taken by surprise. When you graduate, what will you be?
Wait.
When you finish school, what would you become? What will you graduate at? A radiotherapist, a nutritionist,
A medical laboratory scientist.
Medical laboratory scientist. Actually, I was going to ask the allied group, how many disciplines are in the allied group? And Doc, you're right. Come to think of it, you're the largest group. You're very right. You can be a very powerful force. But we only hear of GMA, GRNA, GMA. We are not hearing of you people. So you have work to do, you know. Anyway, let me shoot. Are my slides ready? So before I start, one more thing. The MC said I walked alone here. I'm not alone. Still, a Liverpool man, I never walk alone. I never walk alone. I'm here with, first of all, my team is out there. A few of my people are out there. You've seen them. Make sure you talk to them. And if you don't open an account before you leave here, you've done yourself a disservice. But I came along with a lady I work with, our Chief Marketing Officer. She's called Gillian Hammer. I'd like to introduce her briefly. Gillian, please stand up and let them give you a little round of applause. So Gillian is Jamaican, Canadian, American. But married to a Ghanaian. The reason I, most of the time, carry Jillian along with me anytime I'm going to do a presentation is when I'm done, you know the typical Ghanaian, Doc, Prof. How was the presentation? Oh, Kojo, it was cool, cry. Everything was fine. Ah, you did well. Then when you turn around, you need TB. Jillian will tell me in my face where I could have done better. I've been doing presentations with her for 8 years now. 8 years now. I've been doing presentations with her. But still, if we can, or if she can, I'll pull her along. So when we are done, she'll say, Kojo, this time you didn't pull your nose. Or this time you could have done the slide this way. Just so we keep improving. Ghanaians, we hate being critiqued. And when somebody looks at you in the face and critiques you, you say, this guy doesn't like me. He's my enemy. I won't mind him again. We want to hear good things. If you surround yourself with only people who tell you good things, before you realize you've crashed though. This one is free advice. It's not financial literacy advice, but still. Take criticisms positively. When somebody uses sandpaper on wood, the sandpaper is rough. The wood becomes what? The wood becomes what? Let me go to my slides. Otherwise, I'll speak for 1 hour. Okay, I'll start with a quote. It's not how much money you make that makes you rich. It's actually your investing habits, your spending habits. Otherwise, how on earth can any sports personality who went to the very top crash? They made money, right? They would have made money more than anybody in this room would have ever thought of, right? But some of them today, trust me, you are richer than them. What is rich anyway? Define rich. Who can define rich? What is rich? Who is rich? You, the person next door, me. I'll look at somebody and say, hey, this man is rich. Oh. That man will look at another woman and say, that woman is rich. Oh. But please, it is not how much money you are making. It's how you are spending it. Because if I earn 100 cedis and I spend 50, I'm left with 50. If you earn 500 and you blow the 500, you end up with what? Who is rich? The 500 guy who blew the money or the 100 guy who has 50 left? You get the drift. Guys, think about it very carefully. It's your spending, but more importantly for me, your investing habits. The red is not showing too clearly. So let's go with the tips. Set a financial goal. Be it for whatever it is you want to do, set the goal first. And along the line, I'll tell you that you can, it doesn't have to start huge, but set a goal, a realistic one. You know, sometimes when you set a realistic, achievable target, when you make the first one, then you say, oh, you know, the success then starts begetting success. Do you get me? But if you set a goal from 0 and you say, tomorrow I want to make 1 million, and tomorrow comes and you haven't made 1 million, then you feel like you're disappointed, you can't achieve, you couldn't make it. But set a realistic goal, be it for investing, for business, whatever it is. But set that goal. We always start off without even having what it is exactly we want to have in mind. It's important to set the goal. This is want on the left. This is need on the right. Charlie, it looks like the teacher thing is in my blood. Oh. My father is a teacher too. So want on the left, do you see that? And need is on the right. Do you guys know there's a difference? There's a difference between want and need. But most of the time, we equate the two. How many pairs of shoes do you have? 4. Did you need the 4 or you wanted the 4? Answer. He's laughing. Oh. How many ties do you have? 3. 3 is okay. So if I tell you guys that I have only 1 pair of shoes, will you believe it? Jillian, can you confirm to them, please? Please confirm.
1 pair of shoes that he wears everywhere. Funerals, weddings, outdoorings, work, interview. 1 belt. Yes, 1 belt. And then white shirts.
So now you are starting to review things. But seriously, I'm not saying don't enjoy life. Come on. I'm not saying don't, feel good about yourself. But what I'm trying to put across is, before you make that move to spend on something, ask yourself, is it that I just want this thing because, it will make me look good? Or I really need it? Do I really need it? You are students now. But I have friends, I have colleagues who will go 2 years, they haven't touched a certain shirt that is in their wardrobe. So, do they really need that pair of shirt? But it's money they could have invested. I'm not saying because I'm cool, I want you all to be pepe like me, cool man. But think about it. Because little drops of water, and again, in our time, we didn't even have investment vehicles like we have today. They didn't. The stock exchange came into being in 1990. The stock exchange came into being in 1990. So all these investment vehicles, the whole capital market thing, it started really booming in 94. We didn't have the option. The only option we had was bank. Fixed deposits from treasury bill. That one it wasn't being done properly. You have a huge opportunity that you shouldn't miss. How many of you actually even write where you spend your money? You know that feeling where you got some windfall of 500 CDs. 3 days later, you start asking yourself, but the money, what did I use it for? Am I speaking to somebody here? Yeah. The 500 crowd, where did it go? Then you are thinking. Then you let it go. Then another 5, you say, You need to write down, develop that habit. I did. These days, not as much. But you know why I think I've moved away these days? It was because of Momo. So I started doing almost every transaction on Momo. And it's there. So you go back, you check. But prior to that, pen and paper. And you don't wait and tell yourself, in 2 days' time, I'll write it down. No. Even when I give that security man 3 CDs tip, 5 CDs, 1 CD, immediately, security, 1 CD. You guys think that, Charlie, this guy is being some way. But I'm telling you what works. And at the end of the week, when you sit down and you look at that sheet of paper and see where your money has gone, you think twice. It's power in pen and paper. There's a lot of power in paper. Not Instagram. Debt. Maybe not so much among students, but I have lecturer seniors here too. that I can also talk to. Debt is dangerous. It's very dangerous. And you can take it from micro level all the way to the country top level. And I'll give you examples. Argentina, Sri Lanka, one more country. But debt, you know, and people will say debt is not that bad. True, depending on what you've used it for. True. But even depending on what you've used it for, are you disciplined enough to ensure that you are paying it off? So Doc talked about the pharmacy shop, entrepreneurial. He's done things along the way. Probably took a debt somewhere along the line to buy essentials to be able to continue the business. But he requires discipline. Otherwise, you can be in debt into perpetuity. And I'm talking about things I've seen. Me, I don't talk theory. So I won't quote from some book and volume this and that. No. I'm not talking theory. All that I will talk about here, or I'm talking about, is real life. Because you go and borrow and think that, oh, this thing, when this alawa comes, no, I'll use it to chalk. The alawa is speaking to you. Then in between the time you took the debt and the alawa, something happened at home. Then the alawa is gone. You are in debt. Do you know what you do? You borrow to pay that debt. Then that debt will mature. You borrow to pay that debt again. Then that debt will mature. You stay in debt till you die. I beg your pardon? So, growing up, I've been in debt. But I won't go and borrow for starters to marry. It's not funny. Oh. Hey, you leave school soon. Hey, na coffee. Me ye wo. Into worrying woman nana ye mommy. That's your mother who has looked after you. Then you are there. Hey, mommy. I've seen it. Do not borrow to marry, please. That's the last thing. If you won't take anything from me today, take that one. How can you start life in debt? Hey! My first debt was a car loan, though. I'll live with that. But what I'll live with is a loan for a home. That one, I will encourage you to do it any day. But do it within your means. You can start off with a one-bedroom house, extendable, but I'm varying. But still, don't borrow unnecessarily. It's peer pressure. It's wrong advice. People telling you, oh, you know, people don't tell you their real stories. Oh, how did you do it? Oh, I borrowed and went this, and then this organization, oh, when you go, no, you get the money, no. Then they start chasing you. Sorry. Avoid that. I beg you, avoid it. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. There's no shame. There is no shame if you can't afford something. There is no shame. There is no shame. My colleagues, CEOs, are seeing me driving my 2014. Now you do 2022, that's 14. No. Pressure. Pressure. I don't care. I don't care, honestly. I sleep free. I wake up free. I watch my football free. I didn't hear that. Okay. Now, this is what I was talking about. In our time, we didn't have this. You are in your 20s, 21. Maybe nowadays, dog, your students, they are what? 18, 19. When we went to first year, we were already, what? Let's not say it. And we, but you are young. And the investment opportunities are there. Some people are getting allowances, some people are getting stipend from their parents. I'll show you the power of the compounding effect. But as much as you can, as early as you can, now, today is altar call. Today, me too, I preach financial literacy. Today is your altar call. No matter how small, start. 8 years ago, I used to say, start with 50 cedis. 8 years later, in spite of 30% inflation, I'm still talking, start with 50 cedis, 10 cedis, 20 cedis. Start. Do you know why you should start? Investing is a habit. Those who smoke, you know. Investing is a habit. And once you start, you cross that line, you do it, you do it. You see how some of you on Sunday, if you wake up and you haven't gone to church, like, I'm not feeling correct. Does it happen to any of you? Yeah, you haven't gone to church. It's not correct. Me too. At the end of the month, if I haven't invested, I'm not correct. That is the level at which you should get to. It should be a habit. It doesn't have to be the same amount all the time, but just do it. And this is why. I don't know if you can see. Those are the back. Can you see? Age 20, 44, age 25, 89. Those are the numbers. I am going to show you this analogy. Listen, as the quizmaster says, with what? Rapt attention. You want to have 1 million cedis at age 60. I'm assuming, and you know, most, I stand corrected, but most medical professionals, I'm putting all of you together, both allied, traditional. I don't know how to describe it, but I stand corrected. Rarely are you unemployed. Rarely are you unemployed. In fact, those of us in social sciences graduate. We make the unemployed students association. We are the unemployed association. But medical professionals, physiotherapy, radiotherapy, laboratory, nutrition, name it. Rarely. Maybe you won't be where you want to be. You won't be at the district hospital you want to be. But if you want to be employed, you will be employed. I see people saying yes. So you people there, you have no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. And that's why I was glad I got this opportunity to talk to you. 1 million cedis, age 60. If today you are age 20, to make 1 million cedis at age 60 with compounding effect, the rate is still at 15%. Let's not talk about the last quarter that everything is jumping, going crazy. And you are scientists, so you people, you understand the maths better than I even do. If you are 20 years, you will need 44 cedis a month only. By age 60, you will make $1 million. Please, let's hold inflation. And I know you are thinking, oh, but the Ghana, it is the principle I am trying to impart to you. If you like, make it dollars. If you like, convert it to dollars. And at today's 8, that is what? 8 is 300 and something. You in cedis, put it that way. Now, guess what? You say, oh, Charlie, 20 there, make a chill small. What is this? 60, when will 60 come? Hey, I've been 21 before. I was sitting in the school of auditorium. Near friend saying school of admin. You prof, right? Yeah. Today there is a different level, cry. You people, you've taken it to a different level. But I was 21 there. Never thought that gray hair will come on my face. I'm telling you. I could see my parents, I thought they were some old people, but they were my age. They were my age. Today, they are 80. And I'm sure when I get to 80, I'll be like, hey, you get to 60. Oh. You get there. So you waited 5 years later. You are 25 years. The 44 CDs you needed to get to the million becomes 89 CDs. Then you say, oh no, let me finish my everything when I'm 30 years. The 89 has moved to 170. And on and on and on. What is my message? The amount you need to invest doubles every 5 years. It doubles every 5 years. Your salary is unlikely to double. Your needs are likely to double. Your wants will triple. That is why you have to invest as much as you can, as early as you can, to take advantage of the power of compounding. And the investment vehicles exist. They exist. You must have, when you are young, maybe you think, but 3 investment accounts you must have. An emergency account. Anything can happen. You are in the medical field. You even understand it better than I do. Emergencies, they will happen. It doesn't have to be medical emergency. Could be anything. They will happen. Laugh at me, but I'll tell you. You need a retirement account. The day you get your first employment, Kim, you need a retirement account. It is as sure as death, retirement. It is as sure as death. You will retire. Even if you are self-employed, there will be a day you won't have the energy to wake up to go to your gig. That's your body telling you are retired. And then the multi-purpose account, maybe for higher education, for a building, for a car, for the wedding, for stuff like that. But these 3 you must have. Don't mix them. Don't think you are smart. Don't think you know what you are about. So you put all in one and be managing it. You will fail. We the experts, we fail. And do you know why I'm telling you should have a retirement account? Check the statistic. Everybody accuses SNIT. Oh, SNIT, they are bad and SNIT is useless. And I'm not their PRO, but look, SNIT, they just go by the law. That's all. They go strictly by Act 766. Finish. But it's a social cushion. SNIT is not there to restore you to where you were when you were active. It's a social cushion. That is why you must have a retirement account. It's necessary. Because this is what the statistic at SNIT is showing. That out of 100 Ghanaians, every 100 Ghanaians you have, only two. So in this room, we are circa 200. Only one person in this room will retire comfortably. Who is that one? I'm sorry to inform you that number is currently around 1.5 or 1 point. Is what? It's less than. It's terrible. You have an opportunity. 23% will continue working. And you see it. Some of you, your parents are 65. Why are they working? Because they are not ready. That is the stark truth. Oh, me, I want to keep my brain going. Then work for free. If that is the real, then work for free. Go to the courts. You will see 70-year-olds fighting over something because they are not ready. They were not ready. It's that simple. And oh, by the way, when I was born, there were no creches. Creche. You know the thing, most of you were put in creche. Tell me if you were not put in a creche. When I was born, and I'm not that old though. 51, I'm not that old. Oh, I look old, eh? There were no creche. Do you know what I'm building to? Do you know what is the new phenomenon that is coming up now? Old people's home. It's coming. So if you think when you grow, you will born, and your children will come and look after you. By the time you creche people are ready to retire, there will be many old people homes around. They will dump you there. One was opened in Winneba last month. And that last statistic, 75% of the 100 depend on relatives, friends, hand to mouth. It's demeaning. It's very demeaning. It's not cool. It's really not cool. Don't fall in that trap. Because the average, these are just averages. The lowest pension paid in Ghana today is 300 cedis. At the end of the month, 300 cedis. You spent that last month, didn't you? We are laughing. Last week. And the 300 cedis is subsidized. Like they've topped it up. Because when they do the calculation, the person's pension actually was 2. And the highest, 142,000 for one person. But what is more important, what I really want to point out to you is the 2019, the average is 841. Average. You guys are the statisticians. It tells you that this 142, if you remove it, the average is pulling down. So 90% of the people are on the left side. These are outliers. And by the way, this is based partly on the old law as well. The new law put here, it's capping the highest pension that is paid. So when you start working, take this thing serious. No giddy giddy. That's why you have to start early. Most of the time we wait. We are 45. Hey, 15 years to retirement. I have to do something. Hey, Charlie. Someday, data bank, good afternoon. Please, I want to start investing for my retirement. Okay, sir, how old are you? Oh, I'll be retiring in 6 years' time. So I'll be, 6 years' time. Then when we tell you that, oh, in 6 years' time, this is all you get, it's too small, then what do? You go to the shack. Then they will dupe you. Then you blame government. Be patient. No greed. It's poco a poco. What is important is when you want your money, no matter how small, you will get it back. That should be your guiding principle. Please don't be greedy. And obviously, I said it when Doc was here. But when Doc said it when you can start small. In fact, there are quotations out there that say it's better to start small, learn your mistakes before you scale up. Start small, learn from your mistakes before you scale up. Dr. Macaulay will come. I hope he makes it. I hope that Macaulay makes it. Listen to him when he makes it. Listen to him. He will teach you a thing or two about entrepreneurship. So do not be afraid to start small. And most of the time, some businesses start in school, you know. Not the Sakawa type you people are doing on their cell phones. So. I'm told it's still going on. I mean, students, then they'll push things. Before you see, they vanished. You start in school. This thing. Oh, sorry. This thing. Where is it? I want to move there quickly. You start it in school. Student leaders. Student leaders. You go. They will ask for sponsorship. The thing will come. Then now, declare the thing. Oh, the time ago, Charlie, the guy is cracked. Oh, boy. We've made corruption sexy in Ghana. Why? Seriously. We've made corruption sexy in Ghana. Guys, you can make it without being corrupt. You can. Trust me, if I wanted to be corrupt, with the kind of roles I've played in my career, I'll have 3 mansions, 15 cars, 1 Ferrari. Nah, maybe because I had the privilege of growing up with a very rich grandfather. Very wealthy. Then I looked when he died. I said, this thing, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it, to be honest. It's good to be comfortable, of course. I'm not saying don't seek. No, Doc said the money is there, what? It makes you breathe. That's what makes you breathe. It's true. Sika, yeah, dear. But please, I can talk on corruption for an hour. It's not worth it. Come out with your dignity. To the extent that when they are gossiping about you somewhere, Kojo, there if you go cry, you even listen to you cry. So don't waste their time. Now I have peace. Some years back, you have people trying. Now they don't bother. I have peace. Let me go back. I jumped. But and you know what? If you start early, you can come out of school with capital, ready to start a business. And if you have a business idea, write it down. Develop the plan. Seek help. You are science, allied health, and science students. But you are in a university, you've got mates, business school, they can help. I'll go through quickly. And please, when I was growing up back in the day, an advice I was given was, Kojo, always dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Or the job you are going for. Present, you guys, sometimes you come for interviews. Anyway, this is not business school, but if I was in business school, I'll lambast even more. You come for an interview wearing a multicolored shirt for starters, with a multicolored tie, then no socks. Then you think you are coming to some your this thing, your jam. Then because your chick will say, hey, you look hippie. You too, oh, I'm going for the interview. I'm looking hippie. Please, 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 please. Take it serious. Because once you walk through the door, me with my experience, I've read you already. I've read you. 50% of the interview is done. Sometimes you guys don't present yourself well, to be honest. And don't take it lightly. And I'm a sportsman, so lots of the time, sometimes I use sports to illustrate a lot of things. There's so many successful sports people who are not prepared for their success. You know, you have to prepare for success too. A lot of the talk is about preparing for failure, and if you fall, lift yourself up, and a moving ant is better than a sleeping ox, and all those kinds of things. All the quotations are about when you fail, rise up. But what if you succeed? Feet on the ground, know where you've come from, steady head, no pomposity, humility, integrity. It's crucial. Because the people you meet on your way up are the same people you meet on your way down. I think I'll go very quickly through. I think my time is well spent. So I'll go very, very quickly. Before you invest and before you talk to my people, ask yourself this question. You need to know your risk tolerance. It's very important that you know your risk tolerance. It's not static. It moves. But before you make any investment, know your risk tolerance. And how do you do it? I just say that, let's assume that you've made an investment, wherever, in whatever vehicle. And you go in and you intended to invest for 5 years. So after a year or 9 months, you go in and you want to see how your investment is doing. And they tell you that, oh, the investment, you've lost 10%, or the 100 CDs you came to put in is now worth 90 CDs. It can happen, depending on the vehicle, right? If you panic and you say, hey, the people are chopping my money. Hey, what is this? The other people, when they went, please, your risk tolerance is very low. It's very low. Ask yourself, don't ask a friend, hey, Charlie, so what product did you buy? Oh, so and so product. Okay, me too, I'm going to buy some. No. That's not how to do it. Ask yourself, read yourself. If you go and they say the 100 CDs is now 90, and you're like, okay, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it and see what happens. After all, I said I'll wait for 5 years. Maybe then you are middle. If you say, oh, no problem, after all, I said 5 years. Oh, no problem. I even expected that it will drop to 80 before it comes back up. You have a very high risk tolerance. So depending on your risk tolerance, you decide which product. Here, I'll be data bank biased. I am allowed, isn't it? I'm allowed. So if your risk tolerance is low, it means you can't deal with loss. Small one, po. We recommend the ones in this block. So there's the Data Bank M Fund. There's the Data Bank Eddy Fund. You can buy government treasury bills or government bonds. These ones, they are called fixed income, relatively lower return, very low risk. It builds slowly. If you were the middleman, you see the yellow here, we introduce a few slightly riskier assets. Why are they slightly riskier? They are slightly riskier because we invest some on the stock market. So the 3 here, in the first, the 4 here in the first block, no risk, just fixed income, no equity, no stock market. The middle, the 3 we've introduced, they are balanced, so they have some equity in there. So the value can be lost. So let's say we go in and we buy MTN, and at the time we bought MTN, the price was 79 pesos per share. Then 3 months later, the price drops to 75 pesos per share. You would have lost some money, right? But who knows? It can move to 1 CD in another year. So that's the kind of risk you're dealing with. And that's what we introduce. But if your risk tolerance is very high and you are not worried, in addition to all that I have said, then the last two is our EPAC, which I'm sure you have heard of, or you can buy shares directly. So EPAC, we put all sorts of shares together, and then you can just come and buy part of EPAC. So EPAC will have Farm Milk, MTN, Total, SCB, Kenya Breweries, something cement in Egypt, Egyptel, all sorts of stocks put together. So we are balancing the risk for you. But some people even are more, have higher risk tolerance and say, no, me, I won't even buy EPAC. I want to buy Farm Milk direct. You can do that. But that one, you don't have the advantage of if Farm Milk goes down, but MTN goes up, then you are in EPAC and it's balanced. If Farm Milk goes down, you go down with it. If MTN goes up, you go up with it. If SCB goes up, you go up with it. So you can also then buy direct shares. So it's just a way of, depending on your risk tolerance, we would advise you what product will be best for you so that you don't just go panicking. But I've seen people whose risk tolerance is on the left. But in a certain year, EPAC made a return of 58%. Then no, because of that, they ran. Okay, now my risk appetite is high. Then that year, EPAC makes 8%. And then T-bills or M-Fund does 22%. Oh, this one, but no, I have to come here. No, that's not how to do it. Determine where you are, at least for a 5-year period, and stick to it. Just stick to it. Okay. So, on that note, I think I've exceeded my time. I've spoken too much. I'll take a couple of questions from your WhatsApp staff. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll bring it to a close. Thank you very much.
Ladies,
hey, Gillian is clapping. Oh, yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, a very big round of applause to him once again. Please, let's do it bigger. I mean, these are very valuable stuff. These are very valuable stuff that has been bestowed onto us. And for those who know, I mean, as the Bible says, don't walk away from wisdom. In all that I get in, thank you very much. A big round of applause to him once again. I quite remember I saw, there was this book I saw. And actually what drew my attention to the book was the name of the author. So it was after I picked the book that I got to know that the author was a financial literacy. It was Mokokwana Mono, whatever. Very funny name. And he reminded me of exactly something you did. Immediately you came in telling us about your outfits and everything. And he said something. He said most people would start increasing their expenses when their salaries go higher. Because, I mean, I know you from various banks. You've headed various banks. And, of course, I mean, being the group CEO of a bank like Data Bank, and you've always been like this. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot we have to learn from him. A big round of applause to him. So, at the question and answer segment, we have quite a thought-provoking one. Maybe I'm not a financial person, so it appears a thought-provoking one for me. But let's see what our resource person has to say. Can you please project it? So the first one is one that seeks to strike an interesting balance with respect to how unstable our economy is and how monies that are invested after a period of time appears to have depreciated in value. How do you encourage a student who knows about this, who probably decided to save the little he or she had, and in about 3 years' time, let's say today as it were, the money has depreciated because of how unstable our Ghanaian economy is? What do you have to tell that person?
Okay, so I mean, we get this all the time. I'm also in it. I mean, the depreciation in a country like Ghana, you will always have the depreciation risk, and people tend to say, "Oh, you know what? I'm even better off buying the dollars, putting it under my pillow, and sleep on it." What I advise is, no matter what it is, try not to do that. I mean, the risk involved, apart from theft, the temptation to even take $100 bill, melt it, and do some stuff is very, very high. So I get this. I mean, it is a phenomenon that has happened, especially this year, where the dollar just sort of moved from 6 point something to 8 in a matter of weeks. But what I always say is, and you're saying 2019, I need to check that. But what I always say, these phenomenon or these things don't, like, they are not sustainable. It doesn't last. Eroding of the value, it doesn't last for that long. And while the CD is still, your money is still in a CD account or in a T-bill, it's still earning interest. It's not at zero. It's not static. I don't know what type of bill also you bought, but let's say you bought a 91. The 91, they moved also very quickly from 13 to 20. Very, very, very quickly, or to 19 thereabout. So if you are a 91, that 91 day will be repriced. It's not static. And when it's repriced, if you're not taking out your interest, it's compounding as well. It may catch up 100% with the depreciation. But the gap will not be that huge. And eventually, when the handlers of the economy sort of get it right, the exchange rate will stabilize. I mean, this thing we are seeing, I believe, is still moving, but I believe by the first quarter of next year, it would have stabilized with all the big brothers now coming to look over our shoulder. It's sad, but that's the reality. Looking over our shoulder. It will stabilize. Once it stabilizes, your CD will eventually overtake. Let's not be too short-termism and think about that dollar differential. Go buy dollar, put it under a pillow. It's done. People do it. But from what I know, before you realize, even your $600 that you've gone and taken out and put under your pillow, in 6 months' time, you don't have it. Because the temptation is there. You pick it, you pick it, you pick it. You tap into it. I said, we the professionals crowd, we don't have the discipline to be doing some of these things in our own corner. We need the help. So that would be my answer.
Thank you very much. Please, we want to take the second one and the third one. Our time has really run out.
Yeah.
So what investment schemes can we take as students?
I think you should talk to my team out there. They'll give you all the advice. But like I said, for a start, just start with M-Fund and see how it goes. But know your risk tolerance, or Edifund Tier 1. Those will be the two I'll recommend you start off with. Build the habit, build the knowledge, read around it, then you can move on. What factors affect the growth of your money in an investment account, apart from inflation, and how do you manage such factors or risks? So yeah, inflation is one, it's true. Depreciation I've talked about is another, it's true. But more importantly, you should also read around the product and the governance structure around the product. You know, who are those managing it? Who is the regulator of the product? Who are the board members of the product? You know, stuff like that is also important because there are people managing it, and you need to look behind and be sure that it is a properly regulated product. A lot of the time, we do, oh, I hear say this, I hear say this, I hear say that. Please make sure that whatever you are buying into has a proper regulator in Ghana, Bank of Ghana, Securities and Exchange Commission, Ghana Stock Exchange, National Pensions Regulatory Authority, National Insurance Commission. They are regulators, especially in the financial space. Make sure that your product is properly regulated.
People say it's better to work with borrowed money from the bank than to work with your personal money or assets. Can you throw more light on that?
There are two schools of thought. But as we speak now, we are advising a company who is trying to get out of their bank cycle. The MD says, Kojo, all we are doing is working for the bank. That's all we are doing. We're working for the bank. Because they borrowed X, the interest rate is Y, profit is equal to Y. So profit to bank, profit to bank, profit to bank. Nothing left. So it all depends on what the product is, what the industry is, everything. If you can do it without bank financing, I would recommend if you can do it. But if not, and you can put it as collateral and be sure that you won't lose the collateral and lose your business too. All well and good. But it's all in your business plan. I put it up there. It has to be reflecting in a plan. If you have a plan and you go according to the plan, you should be fine.
I think the last one is one that seeks to want to find a way around what they call inflation shocks. And the person asked, can you project it as quick as possible? So whilst the
My slides are with Gideon, though, I think.
Yes, please. Thank you, sir. We hear assets like land do not depreciate in value. Would you advise investing in lands?
A very popular Ghanaian question. A very, very popular Ghanaian question. Yeah, I mean, people do invest in land. I mean, but from what I know, the older you get, the more cash you require. Liquidity becomes your, madam, thank you very much. The older you are, the more liquidity you need. Because they say from age 50, whether you like it or not, and you people are in the medical field, you will swallow something. Either you are swallowing hypertension, you are swallowing diabetes, you are swallowing something. So then liquidity becomes an issue. And your land is valued 2 million, but you need 500 cedis to buy medicine. Think about it. But I'm not saying land is not good. It is good. If you are buying it, make sure that you are buying it in a litigation-free space. Guys, I've seen it before. You have land, but you don't have the land. By the way, lands depreciate in value in Ghana. Never think that it doesn't. Never. I won't mention the areas, just in case I spoil somebody's business. But I've seen places where the lands were really of good value, but because of poor planning, the place became a slum, and the value of the land depreciated. So never think that land doesn't depreciate in value in Ghana. It does.
Please, thank you very much. We had wanted to summarize the entire questions by pleading if you could help the audience with your email for time constraints, because we have other great speakers.
Where should they drop to? Info. Marketing.
Yes, please. So we'll be glad if Madam.
You see why I never work alone.
Okay. Any questions can be sent to marketing@databankgroup.com. Okay? So marketing at databankgroup.com.
All right. It will be popping up on the screen very soon. But maybe we want to do, we want to do one last question for the purposes of the Financial Secretary of the University of Ghana Medical Students. She says, for emergency funds, if you have then in a regular account, there is temptation to spend. If it's in an investment account, it takes time to redeem. What do you suggest?
Actually, our recommendation at DataBank is that your emergency account be put in M Fund or a different tier 1, or let's stick to M Fund. Why is it that we recommend M Fund? M Fund, we revalue it every day, and when you make a withdrawal request under normal circumstances, you should get it in 24 hours. So it should not be too much of a problem. I mean, you shouldn't compare to an access through an ATM. Your ATM account is not earning you any interest at all. So M Fund will be your best option. Within 24 hours, you should have access to the fund.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kojo Adai. Thank you very much. Once again, you are reminded that the very options that he proposed, there are resource persons from DataBank who could help you understand the very funds that he actually projected. Whatever questions you want, they will be there to expatiate things on your behalf. Please, spelling, please. This is an email. Let's get it right. So, 1T. So, marketing@databankgroup.com. Thank you very much, madam, for the correction. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to them again. There's been a lot that I've learned. I think when he was having this presentation, I walked through to the other end. Coincidentally, there was a young man who was typing something. He didn't quite see that I was behind him. And that's when he said, don't borrow to get married. And guess what he typed on status? Dear wife, I hope you are listening. Young man, how are you? Thank you very much. I hope you are blessed. I'm sure your dear wife has actually listened. Thank you very much. The dear wife. So I was like, young man. Thank you so much. I mean, when it comes to issues of finances, I mean, if you don't discipline yourself, finances will discipline you. And that is why I thought he had to go beyond or go against this Liverpool mantra and come and stand here alone and break things for us to be a blessing unto us as far as financial literacy is concerned. Like I said earlier, we have more than just a great speaker built on today's event. We have about 7 others. The one coming next is one that is quite known to us in the University of Ghana, Allied Health Sciences Medical School community. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a physiologist, an anesthesiologist, and a critical care physician. He holds multiple academic qualifications, including medical degree, master's degree in physiology from the University of Ghana Medical School, a PhD in medicine from Amsterdam University Medical Center, University of Amsterdam, as a matter of fact. He also holds a dual specialist qualification in anesthesiologist from the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons and the West African College of Surgeons. Ladies and gentlemen, he's currently a senior lecturer in the physiology department of the University of Ghana Medical School and an anesthesiologist and a critical care specialist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. He serves as a consultant for the lung function test in the University of Ghana Medical School and adjunct faculty at the University of Amsterdam as well. His work focuses on biological basis of lung and microvascular disease in diabetes and sickle cell. But for those of us who know him beyond the medical field, this is an astute man who has got great interest and great knowledge when it comes to issues of entrepreneurship and leadership. He holds enormous researches, enormous seminars to his belt when it comes to this particular subject matter. Ladies and gentlemen, your physiology lecturer, I'm proud to also call him my physiology lecturer, the one and only Dr. Benjamin Hayfron. A big round of applause.
Thank you. So I want to thank the organizers for this great opportunity. I wanted to be a bit charismatic, but I've seen my teacher here. And Teacher Bawile, you promised us when you taught us that when we meet you somewhere and we say nyama nyama, you give us $100. I'm coming from. It's a great teacher. So I think it's good speaking before he's speaking because you see the levels of teaching when he comes upstage. But I thank the organizers for this wonderful opportunity. My team is running the ICU today. I've had a few calls. I spoke to Ugahsa-Jcr. Kwabena, thank you very much for inviting me. So I'll just do a very short session. Originally, I was supposed to be somewhere later in the presentation, but I need to leave. So I'll just do a very short presentation. My goal will just be to change the way you think. I won't do a very structured presentation. I won't go into too much details. Probably I'll do about 15 minutes and just use 5 minutes for Q&As. And let's start. Who will volunteer to teach with me? Just one person. I want one person upstage. One person. Okay. Let's clap for him as he comes. Okay. So I am interviewing you and I ask, who are you?
My name is Kojo Danso. Okay, so my name is Kojo Danso. I'm a medical laboratory student, final year. I'm the former MELSA president. What again? I am age-wise, I can mention.
Okay, Kojo, don't go. So, Kojo is right. I think he's 1 inch beyond the ordinary person. The reason why we ask this question is, normally when we ask somebody, who are you? The typical answer is that I am a laboratory technician or a technologist. What this does to our mind is that as professionals, we restrict our potential to just one space. So if you have a sheet of paper, just draw a big circle. I just want to do just a mental shift. Just draw a big circle, right? One big circle on the right and another big circle on your left. So the traditional way of thinking is that if we ask, who are you beyond your name, just put in the circle laboratory technologist. Laboratory technologist. Okay. It would have been better illustrated if I had on the board. So what I mean is that you have a big circle, and inside the circle you draw a small circle and title it laboratory technologist. Then inside the same circle, draw another circle and label that small circle entrepreneur. Then inside that same big circle, another small circle, and label it, let's say, leader. It's a generic classification, leader. Then in that same circle, just label another circle, draw another small circle, and label it author or something. Okay. That is one way of thinking, which is a preferred paradigm. Now, on the circle on your right, the other big circle, just the boundary of the circle, just write laboratory technologist or medical technologist. Okay. So, these are two opposing paradigms. And when I was your age, I thought like the second circle. So if you ask me who is Hifron Benjamin, I say I am a medical doctor. So everything about me is medical doctor. But the true paradigm is that you are bigger than a laboratory technologist. So you can't label your entire being as a laboratory technologist. The true person is, you said the first name is Kojo. So the true person is Kojo. That is a big circle. So the big circle is not laboratory. The big circle is Kojo. And inside that big circle, you have your laboratory, this thing. When you excel by the grace of God and you're a national leader, you can write about your achievements, you become an author. You can also channel some of the ideas we learn here to start your own business, you become an entrepreneur. Well, I'm not talking about jack of many trades and master of none. We'll get there very soon. But what I'm trying to say is that there are different views, but a lot of you will subscribe to the traditional view that God is omnipotent, right? And most of us also subscribe to the view that we are all created in the image of God. We can't claim omnipotence, but surely we are multipotent. Every human being, every person seated here is multipotent. You have multiple potentials. So it is within this space that I situate leadership. Because when you start speaking about leadership on an academic platform, some people are saying, I'm just a technocrat. But when you start speaking about maybe I'm just a doctor, I'm just a specialist in lab tech, I'm just a financial expert, all you have done is that you have restricted your entire potential to just one space. But when you begin to think about life in a broader perspective, then you get to know that there are multiple areas of your talent and your potential which can be harnessed. So it is, as I said, it's within this space that I speak to intellectuals like you, allied health students, medical students, professionals about leadership. And I want all of you to promise me that when I speak for the final 7 minutes, you are not going to shut your mind. So I will enter into the space of political leadership, community leadership, and the rest. And just understand that you are bigger than your professional description. Is that one well? Is the foundation well laid? Is it very clear? Does everybody understand? Okay, good. So I'll just speak to you about just another paradigm shift and I'm done. Then probably I'll send the organizers a more comprehensive. I sometimes do, in the leadership workshop, typically we'll do about 6 or 7 sessions well structured. We can't do that. So I just want to change one bit of your mind about leadership. And you are not tired, right? Because we'll do another illustration. Okay, good. I've read a lot about leadership. I've read Bill Gates on leadership. I've read John Maxwell, the huge leadership expert. He defines leadership as influence, nothing more, nothing less. Then I've read about Peter Drucker. Those of you who are in the area of management, you should know Drucker. He is a fantastic management consultant. I think his teacher Bawele is greater than him. Okay, yes. Then there are all these leadership experts. They have their own views about leadership, and I respect them, and they've changed the quality of my life. But I'm not there yet. But based on my experiences, like the first speaker, I now teach what I have experienced, right? What's something that works for me. And my model of leadership is called the Matthew model of leadership, right? The Matthew model of leadership. Okay. You may not be a Christian, but I'll make the reference from the Bible. I call it the Matthew model of leadership because I got the idea and the inspiration from Matthew chapter 4, verse 19. And the narrative is that Jesus, speaking to people, said that, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. How many of you have heard that phrase before? Follow me and I will make you fishers of men. And I believe that this is a single most efficient model of leadership, especially when applied to people who don't think about the traditional leadership space. Okay. There are three components of the phrase. I will touch on only the first part of the first component. The first part says that, follow me. Okay, good. So, Kojo, when I say follow me, can I be static or can I be stationary? I should be moving, isn't it? Okay, good. So, leaders are people who are making advancements in certain fields, right? They are making significant changes in their community. Leadership is not just a title. It's something, because people are going to follow you because you are moving first. Okay, so there is no true leader who is static in his level of achievement, because people very soon will not see you as leaders, because there are people we saw as leaders 5 years ago. We don't consider them as leaders again. I won't touch on that. What I think is important is that when I ask Kojo to follow me as a student, then Kojo is going to follow me because of some influence on my life, isn't it? Because if I just say follow me, let's say I see you on the street of Mala and I say follow me, are you going to follow me? Probably you are not going to follow me. But if maybe one of my students, I see the same person in maybe somewhere across Central and I say follow me, the person is going to follow me because of my influence on his life as a teacher. I hope you understand. Okay, so people are going to follow you. I skipped something. The core definition of leadership is the ability of people to follow you, in my opinion. And somebody has said that if you think you're a leader and nobody is following you, then you are just taking... Yes, yeah, great. So leaders, when we talk about leadership for professionals like you, the mind-changing point is for you to build a certain personal influence which will attract people to follow you. It has nothing to do with positional. So when we normally do these things, we talk about positional leadership, we talk about functional leadership, we talk about situational leadership. Let's forget about all those things. People in the 21st century, especially, we say that the young people, they don't respect. Okay, we make all kinds of claims. But people are not going to follow you because of a title. People are going to follow you because of the influence on your life. So the single most important principle about leadership is personal capacity development. Because I subject to Teacher Bawele because I saw him speak for 30 minutes. And I say this is an intellectual worth following. It's not somebody boxed in the book domain is multi. I'm sure when he comes, he will tell you about it. The kind of people who consult him for all kinds of things is incredible. And he sits here and he educates people in the United Kingdom and all those things. So when I see him, I want to follow him. He didn't call me, he even doesn't know me. But because of the influence on his life, I want to follow him. I hope you get the point I'm creating. So the foundation of leadership for professionals is to spend some time to build your capacity. Because when you build your capacity, influence becomes secondary. And I speak to you on the practical notes because I took so many years to build capacity, and the rest is history. The rest is history. I don't struggle to fit into leadership positions. I'm in a meeting, I speak for 5 minutes, and they take me to another level because of the capacity on my life. Those who want to enter into the space of political leadership, you have to build capacity for the political leadership because, as they say, the high places are slippery. Because you don't want to go and mess up yourself and your family name and all those things. So you have to build capacity. And I'm sure the other people who are going to speak in the field of leadership will teach about how to build intellectual capacity as a leader, how to build relational capacity as a leader, how to build physical capacity as a leader, and even those of you who subscribe to faiths, how to build spiritual capacity, which is the basis of character. Right. I will conclude. I promise I'm speaking for 15 minutes. I'll conclude by saying that if you are in an organization and you want to rise up in leadership, that the single most important thing you can do is to contribute to making the organization bigger. So if you are in the Allied Health Council, the leadership, I mean the students one, not where the big boss is. Yeah, the student leadership, right? If you can contribute so much to the leadership team, then people are naturally going to consider you as somebody worth following. Right? Because many times when we enter into leadership, we are thinking about what we will get from the organization, right? But a greater way to think about leadership is what you can do to the organization. Because if Kojo and I decide to contribute to an organization, and the organization becomes bigger, then the influence of the two of us becomes bigger. I hope you understand what I mean. If, for example, I work with DataBank, and I contribute, and DataBank, for example, moves from a $1 million industry to maybe a $10 million industry, and I'm even just the secretary of DataBank, then my level of leadership as a secretary in the organization is taken from 1 million to what? 10 million. I hope you get the point I'm creating. So please, all of you, forget about titles, and wherever you find yourself, contribute to the building and the growth of the organization. And Teacher Bawale is very passionate about lecturers contributing to the growth of Legon, because he speaks about it a lot. Because if Legon becomes bigger and introduce me as a senior lecturer of the university, then my credibility is bigger. God bless you. Thank you very much. So I don't think you have any question, isn't it? Because of two reasons. I have to run away. And number two, this is just changes in your way of thinking. Are there any pressing questions on the WhatsApp platform? Any question?
So it seems at the moment there
are no questions. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I thank you for the time, and I will need to run away just because I have to get back to the ICU shortly. But thank you for your time, and we are very hopeful that you guys are going to change the state of our companies in Ghana, our organizations, and our nation at large. And I'm very confident you are not going to fail us. So thank you very much. And I didn't salute my boss here. Yeah, yes, I was. I salute you. Okay, so thank you very much, and we'll meet some other time. Teacher, I'll come for my money.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hayfron. Please, I think we can do it better for him. So, as he was speaking, something very interesting I heard from Dr. Miles Monroe was just sort of playing that in the day of adversity, what you have within you is what will speak. It will testify. It's a witness against you. So if you haven't built capacity, well, for now, like he said, leadership is not static. Today you might look like a leader, but 5 years down the line, are we still going to see you as the person we all see you as? We need to keep these things in mind. I think we can do it for him one more time, even though he's not here. Okay, so we are going to have a short poetry interlude. Honestly, to make harmony of words is not an easy task. I'm sure when I call people or I just call you to say something, to just try and rap somebody, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. So when you have someone who is gifted with this kind of talent, we certainly do have to appreciate them. So help me welcome Victor Bayebois to give us a poetry interlude. Yes, Victor, please. Okay, so I think as we wait for Victor, our cultural troupe can give us something. Thank you so much, our cultural troupe. So our poet is here. Let's show some love to Victor Bayabwa. Please let's encourage him. It's not easy standing here.
I come with a message which seeks to encourage everyone here to be the best version of ourselves we can possibly be. My name is Optimist. I'm an artist that writes words so pure that leaves you in awe. I play with words, but I don't play with words. Words loved by the nerds. The meanings of my words make noise like the birds, but not just any mere noise. The noise that sends shivers down your spine. The noise that opens your mind's eye. The noise that is seen as noise to the weakest of minds. I paint pictures with words. Pictures so plain, but might be too much for your brain to explain. Join me on this journey. A journey not too long and not too short, but won't be possible in your absence. A journey full of words artistically designed to appeal to your conscience. A journey full of words intended to touch the heart of you, the audience. A journey full of words that will leave your life redefined. Join me with your hearts and mind. They leave the man in a certain place. Failure stared at him right in the face. Defeat tried to give him an embrace. Laughing beside him was disgrace. Difficulty tried to give him a handshake. Despair wanted him to make a mistake. Fear was behind him, stopping him from moving forward. Anxiety saw his dreams as being absurd. You know what he did in this situation? He stood his grounds and weathered the storm. He was too focused on his aspiration and wouldn't conform to all those conditions. One of the topics we'll talk about here today is leadership. But have you got what it takes to lead the ship? Your life is your ship, and you are the captain. A duty you never skip and never abandon. Until your ship arrives at the shore, you are never walking out the door, because you have Lord in store and you must soar, because life is a war and nothing good comes easy, and that's nature's law. Leadership. How do you lead the ship? When in difficult situations you bow. Make yourself a vow that you will never allow negative conditions to bring you down. A good leader never focuses on the things that cause them pain and bring them down. For the pleasures of life, please don't drown. Be like the man who weathered the storm. To lead your life and the life of others, get rid of inferiority complex. Inferiority complex stops you from reaching your apex. Inferiority complex is a complex trait that puts you in complex situations. It holds you by the neck. You know what's next? I mean the effects. You never become the leader everyone expects. Lead your ship. Be vocal. Don't slip. You're ample. Lead your ship. Be vocal. They say the true entrepreneur is a doer, not just a dreamer, which sets us on the path of entrepreneurship. Another important topic to be discussed today. Opportunities don't happen. You create them. You are special. You are a gem. Never give up on your dreams. Even when we are pushed to your extremes, like a stream, let your dreams flow. Know how to prioritize your time. You are in your prime. Don't dwell too much on the rhyme. Just climb. Your ideas are like a buried seed. To succeed, they need constant attention. Get off the road of distraction. When life tosses you, accept your losses, because it's only through the darkness that you can see the light. And when the dark ends, you will reach your full height. Be an optimist. Be optical in the midst of the mist. Believe in yourself. Put in the effort. Get out of your zone of comfort. Sleep is the cousin of death. Do take a breath. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. Never let you stop you from making it. Whatever dream you have, go for it. Work so hard as if your life depends on it. We've journeyed through the sands of time and found the ladders of success we could climb in our prime. Let your life and goals sublime. Thanks for joining me on this journey with your heart and mind. It means a lot to me. I hope you are redefined. Sleep is the cousin of death. Remember to lead your ship. Be vocal. Thank you.
I think we can certainly do it better.
Wait. This is a very scientific community. Sleep is the cousin of death. Can you explain?
Well, that's why when I said sleep is the cousin of death, I said do take a breath. I'm talking about your dreams. I'm trying to say, don't give up. When you have a dream, don't sleep on it. Work so hard. If your life depends on it. But do take a breath. So, if, as in you are dead, you don't have any potential anymore, you can't do anything. So what I'm trying to say is sleep is the cousin of death. In other words, sleep is related to death. So if you sleep, you die. But not in the literal sense. I'm trying to say that don't sleep. Focus on your dreams. Work hard at it. But at the same time, do take a breath. That's what I'm trying to mean.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who know Professor Wole Soyinka very well when he was in his late 20s or mid-20s, this is probably the upcoming Ghanaian Professor Wole Soyinka. A big round of applause to him. Thank you very much. Sleep is the cousin of death. Quite interesting.
And your life is your ship, so you have to lead it well, if not to crash.
Don't
Very
be a
serious
leader
lines.
if you can't lead a ship.
Yeah.
I can't know punchline, so a big round of applause to him again. Please be reminded that these are his social media handles. For those of you who have got an insatiable quest for poetry, you can follow him on Optimist Bar Yeboah, Optimist_Bar_Yeboah. You can follow him on Twitter as well, Optimist B, that's the big B, Yeboah, or Snapchat. Hey, Snapchat, okay. Optimist Bar Yeboah. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause.
And once again, we want to acknowledge the great dignitaries in our midst. We are so privileged to have them. Dr. Ugahsa-Jcr, Mr. Kojo Adai-Mensah, though he stepped out, Dr. Charles Hayfron Benjamin, Prof. Justice Nima Bawole, and Dr. Francis Asensu Bwedi. Okay, so these are the people we are having at the moment. And we are graced to have them. Please push your hands together for them again.
For those of you who keep joining us, please be reminded that the program is being screened on our YouTube platform as well. You can follow it up over there. Please be reminded that we have our WhatsApp platform that we'll be using for our interactive segment. For those of you who are not in tune with it, please kindly get in touch with any of the ushers that are working in between, and they're going to help you get onto the WhatsApp platform so that it becomes easier to get your questions to our resource persons. You are reminded that we are gathered here at the Charles Esmond building, talking about the College of Health Sciences in relation to what is going down at the very first of its entrepreneurial leadership, the Financial Literacy Summit, being organized by the Ugahsa, talking about the University of Ghana Allied Health Students Association. My name once again is Eric Tete. And in between time, please be reminded that most of our top dignitaries that are going to support the dignitaries that we have here will be joining us. We have the person of Nana Kwame Bediako, a.k.a. who will be joining us very soon. We are also looking forward to meeting the one and only Mr. Dan Macaulay, who will be blessing us with his fountain of wisdom when it comes to entrepreneurship. You definitely can't afford to miss out. So please stay glued to your seat, enjoy the program. And we promise you nothing but a very riveting, robust, and like I always say, non-negotiable discussions when it comes to financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and what? Leadership. Thank you very much.
We have some invited guests as well, some wonderful people who graced our occasion. Sorry. Dr. Peter Nda, the HOD for Occupational Therapy. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Please, that's my very own HOD, so you can do it better.
Lana, you're trying to be biased over here.
Please, allow me. He's my.
Please, let's allow her. Let's do it better for her.
Do it better for him. And we also have Mr. Stephen Amo Mensah, our school officer. Please, let's put our hands together for him as well. Sorry, and I think I'm so sorry. We have Madam Patience Akuboham.
Wow.
Yes, please. Let's show her some love, please. So we are moving on to our next segment. We hear so much about entrepreneurship. Someone is telling us, follow your dreams, follow your passion. Just try to build your talent, do all those things. But sometimes, as much as you are trying, the trying is not trying. But we have amazing people in our midst, seasoned speakers who are going to take us through this. And first on our list, we have a man of diverse knowledge and intense wisdom. He's a professor of public administration and management at the Department of Public Administration and Health Services Management. He is the current dean of the University of Ghana Business School, and his area of interest in research includes ethics, NGO and non-profit management, poverty reduction, and public sector management. Doesn't this just make him, he's just too fit for the job, don't you think so? Please, don't you think so? Don't you agree? Certainly. He also serves on boards and governing councils, both local and international, as a consultant. There are so many other things I could read about this man. I think it's endless, an endless list. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Professor Justice Nima Baule.
Chair and faculty and students, good afternoon. Oh, Ademu Buefuana. Hello, good afternoon. Aha. I'm excited to be here, but let me say that I'm here on behalf of the Vice Chancellor. Your association invited the Vice Chancellor to come for this event, and she sent the invitation letter to me and said, Dean Business School, please represent me. And then when your association made a follow-up, she got back to me and said, are you going to be able to make it? Then I said, yes, Vice Chancellor, because you said so, I will make it. Because your boss says go and represent her, you can't say no. So all other things must wait. And so I'm here on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, but I really wanted one of my colleagues to come and talk to you. And perhaps those of you who are not in final year, you may get to meet him because I'm going to create an opportunity for you to meet him. He is, in the business school, he is our entrepreneurship lead. He's the one that currently manages our innovation and incubation hub, Dr. Georgia Champon. so you would meet Dr. Joya Champon. But I'm here to share a few thoughts with you. They will be sporadic, and so do not expect to have a very coherent conversation. I love to be introduced as Teacher Baole because I love the drama that Dr. From Benjamin, yes, did. Because it actually took me back to where I started from. My father had 5 wives. My mother was number 4. My father had several children, you can imagine. Of all of them, I was the only one that was taken to school. And my father was a village chief, a farmer, and so they dropped me off in town in Yeji, in what is known as Yeji Day Secondary Technical School. I finished O-level in Yeji Day Secondary School. I made a distinction, but I couldn't go to sixth form because at the time both parents had died. And so I had to go to training college to train as a teacher. And I really am excited. I thank God that I trained as a teacher. And that is what I have actually discovered myself as doing best, though I try to teach. But wherever I go to teach, I try not to take the credit, because anywhere I have attempted to teach and I start telling myself that today I will do show, then I flop. So everywhere I go, I try to give glory to God for how far He's brought me and what I am able to do. And that's why when I get people give me all the accolades, I'm not excited about them. And so I want to be introduced as Teacher Baole. So wherever you meet me, call me Teacher Baole. What did I say? Teacher Baole. Because I am a teacher, I want to be a teacher. Because of our time, I'll say a few things about the message that the Vice Chancellor asked me to deliver. Our Vice Chancellor took office, and as we all know, the only female since the 75 years of the university to become a Vice Chancellor. She took the seat with a lot of passion. Her whole focus, if you were to sum it up, she wants to have a university that is digitally driven and anchored on humanism. And she's a linguist, so when she also plays with words, you would understand. But for those of us who are at the operational level, we see in her vision a number of things that we can do, which is that we must ensure that we transform the kind of teaching and learning as well as research that we do, but also that we will take the students that we have as parents will do to their own kids and make sure that we bring them up in the way that will let them go out there and make great impact. And that's why I get excited when I see that student groups don't only go on floats and do JAMA, but organize programs such as this. Because these programs are that which would stand between you becoming a medical doctor, a medical, whatever, allied professional, and the success that you would actually be able to make. After all, there have been many, many other allied health professionals who have been trained. Many of them, if you see, you may not want to be like them. So that which would stand between you getting a certificate from the University of Ghana and you being a great impact person are some of these things that will help to shape you as you go. So I'm excited that you have invited me. I'll talk about a few things. Today I'm not in my characteristic mode. My characteristic mode, I'll be on the floor here and I'll call all of you into action. But today, because I am representing the Vice Chancellor, let me be gentle small. Are we here together? So I was asked to speak on entrepreneurship when the team met me. And I know that there are a lot of business people, like the CEO who spoke here, who will talk to you about the technical things. As an educator and the dean of the business school, where we've been struggling for the past couple of years to set up and create an entrepreneurial culture amongst our students, I want to talk to you about a couple of things, what I call the support systems for entrepreneurial development. The support systems for entrepreneurial development. Now, why I want to talk to you about this is that when you go out there and you try to create any value, listen, I don't say when you go to start a business. I say when you want to create an entrepreneurial value. Value is anything that somebody would want to give attention to. It's anything that someone wants to pay money for. If you go out there and you want to create an entrepreneurial value, there are a number of things you must look for. And those things would give you a signal about whether or not you should make that step. And like the CEO spoke about, if you look at the current turbulent environment, not just in Ghana, I mean, we Ghanaians are loud, and if you go to other places, the pressure is even more. But if you look at the global turbulence that we engage in, there are two things that would usually come out from there. Those that are benefiting and those that are losing. When there was COVID, we had those who benefited and those who lost. And so when you have to have an entrepreneurial value creation, you have to understand when there is turbulence. And when there is turbulence, you have to be able to clearly separate the gaining entrepreneurs and the losing entrepreneurs. The gaining entrepreneurs would have understood the context and the times and will be positioning themselves in areas that the wind will blow along with them for them to be able to create value. The losing entrepreneurs would be those who would stay and stick their guns and say they want to remain where they are because they think they have an idea, and that idea people should buy. Now, once you swim against the tide, you are likely to be a loser or in any entrepreneurship context. And so the few things that I will be mentioning are those things I think you should always watch out and find out whether or not these things are present. And if they are, then you are able to say, let me take the step, and then you can make value creation. But before I get to that, let me come back to you, students. And thank you very much, the spoken word artist, for that powerful word. And as you said it spoke to me and how I struggle with my kids at home when you think that they should not be sleeping, they should be studying. They just wait for you to step out. By the time you come, they are gone. They are sleeping. But we all can make a difference when we enter this environment. There are those that spend a lot of their time, and I have had students. I go to town and I bring very important people who will speak for 30 minutes and get paid millions, and they come to speak to students for free, and no student wants to attend. Sometimes it's like getting the ground opening and swallowing you up, because the people will come and say, "Oh, Dean, where are your people?" And I say, "Oh, my people." Then I go out, "Oh, my people." Literally going to try and shepherd students from their lecture halls for them to go and listen. I tell you, when you leave this environment, every pound of advice you get, you pay for it. Every pound of advice you get out there, you pay for it. Me, I eat from teaching. So, but for this session, and the fact that VC asked me to come and talk here, by the time I talk for 30 minutes, 1 hour, you have to pay me big money. Hey, big money. So I talk for 30 minutes, 1 hour, I'll take money that's equivalent to about 2 times my salary, two times my two monthly salaries in 30 minutes or 1 hour. And sometimes you get more. So don't take it for granted when people come and they are addressing you. And when you hear that there's anything, a public lectures being presented by your professors, there is an event somewhere, don't lie in your room and start. And I'll be talking about a little bit of that. I'm not sure how many of you have read Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Outlier. Hello? Don't only study the skeleton, so don't look only at the human, the anatomy, as how people call it. Don't. Do do some other things. If you haven't read Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Outlier, you can, some of the guys who sell books on the street have them. And in that book, he has a chapter he has titled The 10,000 Hour Rule. What did I say? The 10,000 hour rule. In other words, 10,000 hours. Now, those of you who are good calculators, take 10,000 hours and divide it by 24. Let's see how many days you get. Take 2,000 hours, divide it by 24. Is there any mathematician here? Yes. What did somebody get? Oh, you people don't do that too. 460, 416, 417. No, what did you divide it by? 10,000 divided by 24. What did you get? Hey, am I correct? Are you correct? Okay, 417. So that will be 4,107 days. So 417 days. Oh no, maybe then I got it wrong. Let me check. Let's so 10,000 hours divided by 24. Okay. 416. Okay, great. I know what that is so. I know why that is so. So you get 416 days, literally, right? 416 days. So it means that, according to Malcolm Gladwell, anyone who is at the top of their career, top of their sport, top of their profession, so if you take the professions, any profession, any career, take the musicians, take the footballers, take all those like Ronaldo and all of those ones, the musicians, those that are at the top, anyone, they take the professionals. Anyone who is at the top of their profession, they would have spent 24 hours a day for 416 days practicing their craft. But it's not possible to spend all the 24 hours, is it? Because you have to sleep. The spoken word man said we should sleep, right? So he says we should rest. When you grow small, you will know that getting time to sleep is a luxury. Because sometimes I have slept less than 3 hours in a day for sometimes a week, and I get so stressed, or I dope. The medical professionals, doping. Those sports people, they inject steroids. Is that how people call them? So they can stay active. So I dope. I take heavy and strong tea to stay awake. Sometimes it's dangerous. Don't do like me. I put my hand in my mouth and I put my teeth on it and I put pressure. I bite my finger to stay awake to finish an assignment. So the sleep thing is very important. Recently I read an article that says I am getting retarded because of less sleep. So I have started trying to go home around 11, 12, and all of that. The night. Yes. No, it's crazy. And I'll come back to entrepreneurship and I'll tell you that entrepreneurship is harder than that. You see, what I do, I have a job. My job is an 8 to 5 o'clock job. And I'll close. But I have a job that I have set myself very crazy targets. And because of that, I am doing this. Now, when you do entrepreneurship, you do not have working hours. But we'll come to that. Maybe I should not say this. But I was talking about Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hour rule. So if you take 10,000 hours and you split it by 24 hours, you get 416. But we don't work for 28 hours. 24 hours a day. How many hours? Maybe 6 hours, 7 hours effective, 6 hours effective. So strike 10,000 hours by 6 hours. And then we see how many days it comes up to. Quickly. I don't have a lot of time, but I would leave you soon. I won't talk a lot. The rest of the things, I'll just mention them. And then I'll give you assignment to go and read. Teacher Fordia says, if you ask me a difficult question, I'll give it to you as an assignment. So 10,000 hours divided by 6 hours. Let's say 6 hours a day. 1,666. Is that correct? Divided by 365. And let's see. Divide that figure by 365. It gives you 4.5, right? So about 4.6. So if you do 6 hours a day to get to the top of your career and be the best in your group, you need to do 6 hours a day, 6 hours, effective, not the one you used to play WhatsApp and, you know, all of those Snapchat and all of that. No, the effective use of your time, 6 hours a day, you would have to do 4.5 years to get to the top of your career. So if you are here and you are thinking about being the best in your group, being the best in your profession, you want to go out there and make impact, you want to be the best entrepreneur, be thinking about investing for 4.5 years, you must do 6 hours every day. Those who play keyboard, let them tell you how much time they have to spend. Small children who play the piano, you see the number of hours they spend. So if you are here, and like some of my TAs used to do, 11 p.m., they have asked me for a reference to go to the university. I'm in the office at 11, I want to go home. I say, okay, let me do this reference for this young man. And then I don't have all the information. I call them up, they have slept like 5 hours already. At 11 p.m., he's expecting me to be in the office to do a reference for her. If you're a young man and you are here like this, hey, because if you don't carry it whilst your head is black, your hair is black, you will carry it when it is white. And Kojo showed us something here, where he said just about 1% or so of the people tiring comfortably. The 75% of us, all of us, I just added myself to those ones. because so the rest of us, so if you want to be able to be that 1% in all fields, you have to do more. So for me, when companies, organizations in Ghana complain that, oh, they are collapsing, and not just public sector entities, because when the public sector agencies are bad and we hand them over to the private sector people, they also collapse. So all the state enterprises that we sold as a country because we said Ghanaians are corrupt and all of that, you give it to private sector people, they also collapse. So there's something definitely wrong. And that which is definitely wrong is us. Now, unfortunately, everyone thinks that someone else should be the one working their hearts out. I wanted to say, but I will say that. So that they can make profit. I tell you, in Ghana. So you want to be on top of your trade. You want to stand out. You want to be that excellent young man. You want to go out there and the world would open red carpet for you and clap for you. Sorry. It cannot be the kind of thing that we do. You have to go the extra mile. So please, if you haven't been doing that, start doing that. And make effective use of your time. And see whether the results will not show. I'll come back to us. So I was talking about entrepreneurship. And so when people asked me to talk about help people to entrepreneurship for where? And then I remembered Dr. Wisdom Amebloto. You know him. He's a very good friend. I hope he will make time to come. He's a very good friend. And when I was head of department, he sponsored a number of awards for my department because we wanted to talk to him. And we've been doing a lot of work. And then I remembered that, oh, this is also a physician who has moved out into the private space and is doing great things. And so I said, okay, if people can do. But you see, in entrepreneurship, you can have two broad categories of entrepreneurship. What we call disruptive entrepreneurship, and what we have opportunity entrepreneurship. Now, for most of us, because we are unable to work that extra hard, it is difficult for us to enter the space of disruptive entrepreneurship. And I'll talk about that pretty soon. So for most of us, we are fine to just do opportunity entrepreneurship. Opportunity entrepreneurship is where you find within a community something that people really think has value, but no one is delivering it or delivering it well. And so you want to pick that up and deliver that well. And for most of you as health professionals, you will find yourself in many environments where there are things that are opportunity entrepreneurial avenues, and you can strike that. So, and it will not just be in health. In health, yes, you can do a lot of things. For example, you find in Ghana a lot of there's expansion in Accra. People are struggling to build places that there are no government facilities there. There's nothing there. You move there early enough, you can set up something and all of that. Many years ago, somebody hired me as a consultant to develop home-based care proposal for her. I did it and got my money. She didn't implement it. My dear Mr. come baby, you know, and all of that. But now it's getting it's getting very active in this space where a lot of people. So those are things you go into an environment. So within the health sector, you can find several things that, based on your expertise, your experience, the things that you have done, you can see some opportunities you can take. But also that even though you are a health professional, there is no money that is, when you get money, it doesn't, there's no description of where the money came from. Every money be money, you know. So when you go into an environment and there are other things that you can do, and I'll tell you what, a bank manager got transferred from here to Sefiwi also, commercial bank. And then he struggled. He wanted to fight the transfer. He struggled, and the company said no. So they transferred. Reluctantly, he went to Sefiwi also. And when he had spent just about 5 years in Sefiwi also, he was transferred to Bolga. And then he threatened he was going to retire. And then a friend encouraged me and said, oh, but you go and see the place first. So if you don't like it, then you can resign. So the guy went. He got there and found out that animals were very cheap to buy in that community.